Dude, we're creeping up on that year mark, but we'll get to that in a future episode because we're almost there. But right now, I want to start with a special segment we haven't done in a long time, which is, you know what really grinds my gears? And I know you're gonna have something. I know Nick's got to have something in the barrel ready to go. But let me just say, for me, dude, it's going to be when you're in any parking structure, any parking lot, I should say, the social unawareness of people. This isn't the time to be walking with your head down on your phone, shuffling your fluffy slippers on the gravel. It's to be aware of where you are and getting the F out of the way.
Yeah, we seem to have this weird thing where people don't walk close to the cars anymore.
They walk right in the middle.
Yeah. No, that's a big Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart, Target. That's like a big problem in these big retailers where you go, do we now have to put like walking lines?
Well, Costco does do that. Funny enough, you said that. Costco's the only place that has those dedicated, at least here in Texas. I don't know about Vegas, but they have these big old walkways that are like, they had to design them that way to get people, and they have the big parking spots too, which kudos to Costco. Best parking space sizes in the world.
We have 7,000 Costco's. Parking lots are door ding heaven out here.
Are they? That's terrible, dude.
Yeah.
We have like double size, I could fit 2 GTIs inside of one parking spot.
Well, you got them big old trucks down in Texas.
That's true. We got the big Longhorn editions. We have the big old Eddie Bauer
I got to get the High Sierra Canyon edition.
AT4 Bighorn edition.
Just start putting all the names together. That's the King Ranch, Sierra. People are gonna be like, "That's not the trim model." It's like we got it, man. That's the joke.
This clip right here, I'm gonna put all of them together in one long sequence.
So I didn't know you were gonna do this, but here's what's grinding my gears, and I want to say this: I have family members that I love very much that are police officers. One of them is a retired, did his time police officer. He's my stepfather and did a great job, had a great career. My brother-in-law is a cop. We got to talk about this, and we got to talk about it pretty openly, and I want everybody to hear this for what it is that we back the police. It's not a job that I would want. They handle a lot of things I wouldn't want to be involved in. The going under the speed limit on the freeway should be a fireable offense if you're a police officer. And I'm going to tell you why. If anybody didn't see the major accident that happened with the truck driver out in the Inland Empire with stop traffic, as a guy that got hit in stop traffic with somebody going full speed 80 miles an hour and hit me, in a BMW X5, glad I was in that German tank, by the way, because that was a pretty, we had injuries and years, I had over a year worth of physical therapy. When you're in a busy city, any slowing down of traffic is a big freaking issue. And cops, and then maybe it doesn't happen in your area, but I've lived in a lot of different places. Getting on the freeway, you're a highway patrol guy, gal, you're a cop for the city, or, where you're at in Texas, I don't know, you guys got 400 different people that are officers of some type. What is it? What do you guys have down there? Sheriffs, constables? Yeah. You got like 700 different agencies.
I thought you were about to throw out the mount me. It's like, hey, we don't have mount me.
You guys have rangers. You got everything down there.
Everything.
So I'm on the freeway, and this city has grown massively in the past 5 years, and traffic is now a very, very big concern. Well, the amount of screeching and people slamming their brakes, on the freeways is becoming a very daily occurrence. I experienced the same thing in Southern California. When you drive around Austin or Houston, you see stop traffic people. So I got this cop. I can't tell what's going on in traffic. I think there's an accident. And I'm on one of the busiest freeways right now in Vegas. And everybody is basically grinding to a halt because anybody that thinks they go the speed limit, this guy's going to hit his lights.
Right.
Because you pass him. And I got to say this, police officers, why do you want to make things more dangerous for yourself? I got to imagine it's a pretty dangerous job. Okay? We've the clutch culture is all about fixing problems in the car world. We've tried to tell semi-drivers, get out of the left lane. It's become an epidemic. Police officers, highway patrol, whoever you are, go 5 over the speed limit or whatever the flow of traffic is. Because when you aren't going with the flow of traffic, things back up behind you, things get very dangerous very quickly. Okay? Stop traffic on a freeway or slowing traffic on a freeway is number one, the biggest problem you have with accidents. People not paying attention, whatever. I just see this guy, he's just cruising, Rob. Like there's nothing going on. And it's just piling up behind them. Traffic is flowing freely. You're stopping it. That's not you're not being cool, man. You're not helping the world, which is what we all think you're there to do. So don't do this any. And by the way, it's been going on my whole life. You have these situations that you remember where you're like, this cop somehow stayed on the freeway for the 22 miles and got off on the same exit as me. So my commute was another 15, 20 minutes longer than it normally is. But like, can we all just say, you got to stop doing this? That's what grinds my gears.
I was not expecting that. That's unfortunate. That's hilarious. It also reminds me of a video, which is in the middle of you talking about that. So, I had a few people send it to me. Man, I'm trying to pull it up real quick. But it's this lady, it's this guy, somebody in the car recording the rear or the side mirror, and this lady behind him in like a Santa Fe is losing her mind because they're going really slow. And then he pans over to the front, and there's a stop guard, like with the little like cross section thing, and she is just flipping her mind. She's losing it. She's hitting the steering wheel. She's literally spinning up in the air. She's like, "Just move!"
And so here's the deal: anything where traffic slows unnecessarily has got to be taken out of the ecosystem, which is why we brought up the semi-truck thing, about a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever. But like, look, police officers, you want people on your side like me, don't do stuff like this. It's got to stop. Like, just for safety reasons, this is kind of irresponsible in a city like Las Vegas where traffic is becoming untenable. And if you get on a freeway that is free flowing, go with the speed of traffic, man. Don't be that guy.
Good PSA. Yeah. But you know what? The left lane thing too has apparently just seeped into everybody's mind. I mean, I'm seeing everybody just kind of cruising in the left lane at this point. All kinds of cars.
Well, and here's the thing: for those of you that live in, and I've said this, and maybe this is how you feel, the more internationally diverse your city is, the left lane becomes more problematic.
Yup.
Very. I mean,
those videos, people.
Houston, Austin, Vegas, L.A., San Diego, Miami. The left lane is evidently just in driver's ed, not talked about.
We need to. So we also had a package delivered, just like a random Amazon thing that came to our house, and it had an item that we hadn't ordered, and it was like a driver's education for your teen kind of like book. And we don't even have teens yet, but I was like, I laughed at it. My wife and I were like, "Did you order this?" Like, no, why would I order this? So we just randomly got it. And I thought to myself, it could be a bit for the show where like, we need to deliver this to people randomly, like.
Did you go and highlight the left lane section?
No, but I need to.
Left lane is for passing. Get the F out of there.
I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to gift it to somebody I know that's a bad driver and be like, hey, you might want. They're 40, but they need teenage, driver's ed.
Hey, just refresh yourself.
Yeah. Refreshers. Ooh, that's underrated. Refreshers. I think we need refreshers for certain things in life, and driving like that's one of them.
And I think we need to have degrees of licenses that you have to test for.
I totally agree.
I mean, it just, to me, it makes all kinds of logical sense. And people are going to say CDLs. We see how that program's working out.
Yeah.
That one maybe needs to be revamped to get your CDL license with all the things going on. But I just think there should be degrees. I think there should be places that you're not allowed to drive in every city if you don't have this degree of license. I think there's very easy ways to clean traffic up. I don't think it's all fixable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an egomaniac that's like we can fix everything. But you can fix a lot of things with just, again, a cop not going 5-7 miles an hour under the speed limit. I mean, it's just, you shouldn't be able to do it.
This is how I imagine Nick was in his car, for those of you that are watching on YouTube.
Of my life.
Look at this lady. Look at this. Just wait for this.
Because I am capable of powerful, positive change.
Hey, that's probably accurate.
Look at this lady. Oh my God, dude.
Here's the crazy thing. You can call that crazy, but then also sympathize. That's a pretty rare video. You can sympathize and say it's crazy because Rob, don't lie to me. You've done that.
Oh, 100%. I was doing it 2 days ago. I don't know.
You drive in Houston. There's no way you don't do it.
No, everywhere. And you know what? I think Austin's getting to the worst level just because it's not built for this population that we have here right now. It's just not. Like Houston, you can go and find a 3, 4, 5, 6 highway area. Here, you're stuck to like 2 for most of the time, and
And by the way, the suburbs, you're all 45 minutes outside of Austin. So if you have to go into Austin, it's atrocious.
Which is how I prefer it, honestly, because I'll take the back roads. I don't care. I'll go look at cows. 15 minutes. Make it a full, solid 60 minutes. Just look at the cows on the tollway. I don't care.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, we got a lot of things going on in the news today. We talked about something fun, so let's get into something. Actually, you know what? Let's stick to something that's semi-serious. Are we going to call this Applegate? Should we just go ahead and call it GM's Applegate?
Hey, look at you, Applegate. Man,
Yeah.
I tell you what, I made some Jamie jokes last week. You came, you're fired up. You got the producer hat on. Look at him.
New producer hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, new retro.
For everybody that watches on YouTube, they'll notice that I have 10 of the same T-shirt, 3 of the same hat. So
I have the same shirt. I have different hats. I have nothing
Yeah.
else, just different hats. But you probably know more of the quote specifically to what the GM. She's the CEO, right?
yeah, Mary Barra, I believe is her
Yeah.
name.
So there was a bunch of different quotes floating around. I think you probably have the better ones off the top of your head. But essentially, they're phasing out Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is some I think not a serious subject, but in reality might be one of the more serious subjects we've covered in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, because infotainment now is the hub of the car, right? I mean,
Yeah.
again, if you look at even my LX, as soon as it was updated with Apple CarPlay, it became the hub. That's what I go to, right? I think this is interesting on a lot of levels because her whole reasoning is she's saying that consumers are really mad or have complained a lot about having to switch from Apple CarPlay to the user interface of the car, and there's all this distracted driving, there's all this different stuff. Does anybody have a buddy they know that was bitching about Apple CarPlay? I mean, I don't think you were. I certainly have. I mean, I have a more outdated car, so getting into the user interface of the car would be way more of a headache than getting into the user interface of a modern car to get out of Apple CarPlay. But this goes back to if you all have all the necessary buttons for heating, air, and volume control, then why would I need to get into the car's user interface on a daily drive all that often, if ever? Like, I'll give people my example. My LX, once I switch it to Apple CarPlay, I have zero reason to go back into the Lexus navigation infotainment system. So why would what's changed about a modern car that would say that's what I would have to do? I'm confused to that. And somebody out there is going to tell me what they do. But my guess is if you had all the necessary heating, air, fan speed and volume button of your car, in what universe are you going into the user interface like setting system of your GM vehicle out of Apple CarPlay? Well, I mean,
Never.
give me the argument.
Never. And my 2018, the Volkswagen infotainment, I think is great. Like, you'll see people every time they review a new generation or, a refresh, they'll talk about the infotainment because obviously it's a big part of it. And they'll always use these terms of like, it's quicker, it's snappier, right? Like they're sliding on the screen or whatever. But you go back to these 2018, 19, even 17s, like they're just as quick and snappy. Like the incremental improvements have not been that much better where you're like, yeah, I got to get a car that's 7, 8, 9, 10 years newer.
Yeah, I think what they're talking about is if you go to my '08 BMW, the system's terrible. Mm-hmm. Okay, but it was designed in 2008.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but again, once I hook up to Bluetooth, I'm not going in and resetting my TPS sensors on my drive. Like what am I doing? And so now this is where I get to this question. Many of you invest in these companies, through your portfolios. Many of you are just fans of GM or Ford or BMW or whatever. Are we now, again, instead of solving the problem of having, I think we just had a record quarter of recalls from auto manufacturers, up something like, 16 to 20% year over year with recalls of this quarter. You got a lot on your plate, Mary. A lot on your plate. This is you want to be a tech company? Which, by the way, you've had 100 years to build engines that you don't have massive recalls on. You haven't perfected that. What are we doing here?
It's actually
Because
gotten
again,
worse.
if people say to me, Nick, you forgot this point, and this is why she's correct. Cool, I'm willing to hear that. I drive cars with Apple CarPlay. I have Apple phones. When I drive, let's just say for all you guys with the overlander builds that you drive from here to Costco, okay? From here to Costco, how many times do you get out of Apple CarPlay?
How do you feel about wireless CarPlay, by the way, versus wired?
I never cared either way.
Yeah, same.
It was never. I mean,
think
look,
wired's better.
mine's wireless now. I actually think there's an argument they kind of perfected mirroring the phone.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, again, could they have cleaned it up and make, they can always make the graphics better and it clearer and sharper and quicker. Sure. I asked this question. If I have a volume knob, if I can control my heating and air outside of the infotainment system, which is what, anywhere from, 3 to 4 buttons, 3 to 5 buttons, what am I having to do in my user interface consistently on a normal drive?
Two things: the volume knob button, and then I want to back to the CarPlay in a second. We had a comment on one of our videos this week about because we were talking about knobs and buttons on a few shorts that said, "Why would I want a volume knob if my hand's already on the steering wheel and I can just easily slide?" More so pro haptic that because most sane people hate the haptic stuff. And if you want to be objective here, you can be like, "Yeah, your hand is on the steering wheel." Given that it works, and not like you said, you made a good point in the actual episode itself. If you don't have lotion, you don't have hand sanitizer, you don't have all these things.
You haven't. It's dirty.
Yeah,
And it starts to. And by the way, anybody using haptic will remember. I don't know, one of 1,000 times where they tried to turn it up 2 notches and it went up 17 notches.
and now your
Okay.
speakers are blown.
Yeah, and again, that's not stacking tech for the sake of stacking tech is what anybody should be against, because it never works. Like, it never provides a better user experience for you. So I look at this and I say to everybody, if I'm missing something, let me know. But I have a pretty 2003 Lexus that's been switched to Apple CarPlay. And I can tell you, getting into Lexus in 2003 user interface would be a lot more problematic for me than a new Chevy. I don't have any problem at all. Are we solving problems that aren't, again, if I was Mary Barra, who just had to take almost a $2 billion write-down, who's now caused an international incident by closing a factory in Canada, is this where I'd spend my time? Again, I've told Rob this privately. I'll tell all you this publicly, and I've probably said it enough publicly. I would pay a lot of money every year to be able to video in to these executive meetings and car companies and listen to people talk about how great ideas are and never say, we just had a recall on like 500,000 of our engines. Maybe, just maybe, our time is better spent, because in 100 years of building cars, we still haven't perfected it. We still haven't perfected the basics.
To which I said you'd get kicked out immediately, and you had a great follow-up to that, which was...
Yeah, I would write a contract that I would never be allowed to speak in the meetings.
You're just literally a fly on the wall.
Because I would just want to come on this podcast and go, you won't believe what Jimmy said in the GM meeting.
Get a load of this.
I mean, you guys have to see where I'm coming from. Even if you don't agree with me,
Yeah.
you have a finite amount of energy inside of any business that you can spend on things. Why in the world, when you have Denali's blowing up, Yukons blowing up, Tahoe's blowing up, oil issues, lifter issues, transmission issues, all this, why would you go, you know what, let's undertake a tech project that is unnecessary on every level?
In year 2, I'd love to say that we're going to come back on the show week after week and praise all of the great decisions, because it's what I would rather do. But I feel like there's not that much room for the praising of a lot of manufacturer decisions, whereas the criticisms of it, unfortunately, like a lot of things in today's world, is more what's warranted.
Okay, and here's the other problem. And this is where I want to make sure everybody understands my point of view on this. Mary Barra goes on podcasts that don't push her. They just go, so you're not going to mirror the phone anymore? Nope. Oh, okay.
That must have been the clip you were talking about. I didn't see that, but
I'm like,
that's
no
great.
follow-up?
That's
You don't go, Miss Barra, I drive cars every day. This really isn't a problem. Like actually people praise Apple CarPlay and what is the Google one called?
Android Auto.
Android Auto. I don't hear anybody complain about it. I just don't. And infotainment being one of the biggest things on the internet in cars, I've never heard anybody complain about it.
So I think that I don't think this is going to happen, but it's possible that with this move, let's just in a fairy tale land say everybody starts going to their own softwares, right? So when I heard this and I read about it earlier in the week, I just happened to get a notification from Car Gurus like, hey, this 2019, which is 1819 are my favorite years, Golf R is up for sale at a CarMax, right? Dude, 5,000 miles. They wanted 37 for it, which is like, okay, it's like still pretty high, but like considering it's 5,000 miles, everything about it's perfect. That everything from the infotainment to the exterior, the whole thing, it sold less than a day. Like, that same day I got, hey, this car sold. I'm like, God damn it, right?
Hey, you know, one thing we have to bring up here is people are going to go, well, Tesla has their own UI. And they don't. Okay, but you got to remember, founded by tech people.
Right.
Okay? And by the way, they're not building engines that are blowing up.
And by the way, people will still say that they do prefer Apple CarPlay.
Yes. And by the way, I will say, in my opinion, Tesla's done an excellent job. And I've come on this podcast, probably one of the first ones we did. If all of these companies would have cut a deal with Tesla over a decade ago to just have them build their UI, then you could have avoided all this. But you guys didn't do that. So what happens? Google and Apple get with you. You make these systems. The systems work fine. The systems, in my opinion, the systems work great. Mm-hmm. I would say that. That's my opinion. I've never had an issue with Apple CarPlay. And matter of fact, there's most people that say they won't buy a car without Apple CarPlay. So who is Mary and her executive team talking about? And again, you go on a podcast that seemingly doesn't ask them any questions, and they think they're doing a benefit. And they're not doing a benefit because they're not actually hearing from people that go, hey, you're not going to come on this podcast and just say crazy stuff and not at least have me give a follow-up question.
This decision and these little remarks from her on podcasts and articles have soured the name Mary for me. I can't listen to anything with Mary. There's something about Mary. Mary Had Little Lamb with Steve Ray Vaughan. I can't listen to any of those songs anymore. It's just,
I'm out.
I'm out on it. Yeah. I got a scenario for you. I know a few people who have cars that didn't come from factory with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And these are like 2020 Toyotas, for instance. They didn't have that in.
Yeah, my GX doesn't have Apple CarPlay.
Right, Lexus rather, and Toyota don't have that stuff until like I think 21 plus is when they started.
No, my GX was a 21 or 22. I think it's a 21. Yeah, it doesn't have CarPlay.
Okay, all right, well maybe 22 plus then or 23 plus, which is crazy to think, right? But that's like the definition of a Toyota interior is like.
Well, that's the definition of Japanese automakers. Yes.
Right.
I mean, behind on tech, behind on touch points, behind on leather interior, but just behind. I mean, that they're worried about it. And to their credit, they have less engines blow up. So. Well, up until recently,
but yeah, you're right.
I mean, but here's the deal. They said, come get a new one. Where Chevy's like, hey, just upgrade the oil. At least Toyota goes, hey, come get an engine. GM's like, just put a heavier oil in it. It's like, well, no, I put the recommended oil in it.
You tried the oil cap, maybe? Different drain plug? I don't know. Let's try something
we just took $2 billion off our balance sheet, but guess what? We're good at tech.
Things are doing good. Things are going great. We're working in the back end on all kinds of stuff that you're going to be excited for it. So these individuals, one in particular, likes other features of cars and more. So let me ask you, if you had to choose, now having had all the features basically in cars that you would want, creature comfort-wise, would you rather take heated and cool seats or Apple CarPlay? Because this individual rather have cooled seats than Apple
CarPlay.
That's what I said.
I don't use. So my 2003 has heated seats. Every car I have has heated and cooled seats, or heated seats at least, but most of them heated and cooled. I don't ever use them. So
I don't really use, and that's not true. I do use the heated seats, but the cooled seats in the Mazda are like, dude, they turn on, they're like, your a-hole is just like.
Well, look, I ain't got soft hands, boy. So
the goddamn rant. When I get back in the car, I'm gonna be cool.
Yeah, I don't use. I mean, again, that could be my fault. I mean, it's a good feature, but it's just not something that pops in my head.
No, that's my favorite feature. CarPlay and then like an actual shifter, either on the stop. Somebody else made that comment too. Like, just give me a shifter on the column or somewhere in the somewhere. Give me a shifter, CarPlay, and a radio knob, a volume knob. I'm good.
Yeah, no, I think this is solving a problem that maybe 1% of customers have complained about. Because again, I just think we would hear about it, right? You and I talk to enough people. You and I watch enough and get sent enough car content where the infotainment system gets talked about extensively. I don't hear the complaints.
Where's that damn beanie? Let's put our clutch conspiracy beanie on real quick. Okay, people have talked about GM and Rivian in the future potentially becoming some sort of like a purchase together, bought together, whatever. What if, to go back to the creating the problem, they're creating this issue now, and then when they take on a Rivian, they can improve and yet, make their own problem
Yeah,
better.
I mean, that all sounds good. I mean, I guess that could happen. But again, the Volkswagen Auto Group's in business with Rivian. So, I mean, is the Volkswagen Auto Group not going to have first right of refusal to buy Rivian, who, by the way, they're working on their big scout plans with? I'm not. Anything can happen if somebody cuts a big enough check. Let's be clear, like we've said a million times. But I don't see that. And if that's the plans that you're doing, then why wouldn't either way? I don't defend this. I mean, this is crazy.
Indefensible, as we
Yeah,
say.
this is crazy.
All right, on a lighter note, in Japan, the Suzuki Alto Hustle, a roof-high K-van, is garnering attention as a new obsession.
Oh, it's crazy. I thought you were going to bring up the new FJ.
Oh, not yet, but come on, man.
Hey, come on, Jamie.
I know you don't know the showrunner.
Whoa!
Look at this. You got to look at this on YouTube, everybody. It's a new K-van obsession over in Japan. Look at that. That's straight out of Pimp My Ride.
Hey, what a good call. That is a Pimp My Ride. Is there a fish tank in the back?
It looks like it's literally you're carrying a fish tank in the back. It's an aquarium.
Hey, and they got the letters on the tires,
which I'm kind of digging.
I know. We already knew you were. You don't have to. Don't state the obvious for the audience.
You don't like the fact sometimes cars look cool with the white lettering these days?
I have white lettering on my LX.
Okay, all right. See, also this looks like the front of a Pontiac Aztek.
Oh, what a good call! Are those round headlights?
They are, yeah.
This is a good obsession. This is a good obsession. You know why?
There's only 2 pictures of it, but I like it. Oh wait, never mind.
Because I'm real big on either just go really, really, this looks awesome, well designed, or insane foolishness. This is insane foolishness. This is great. Like,
this interior is like Geometro kind of.
Oh, good call. Yeah, it is for sure.
Yep. Wow.
For those that weren't around for the Geo brand.
Yeah, I had a history teacher that drove a Geometro. Poor guy.
Good for him. He had to be your best teacher.
He was 100% the best teacher.
Hey, is that a double spoiler?
5,000. You got to have the double spoiler.
We got to keep this thing down, boys. Put me a double aero package on it.
And then as you go down, is that at least a 4.5 inch exhaust pipe, tailpipe right there at the end?
You know what's kind of a shame is we don't see this thing driving.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, and they got it on suspension. They got this thing like dialed.
Coilovers on this thing. Yeah, I bet you it handles pretty well too.
I'm in. Hey, you might have to tint that fishbowl there on the back.
No, the fish need to see outside.
You want the fish to see the elements. Yeah. Hey, you could be swimming in that lake right there, but instead you're in the back of my Geo Metro Aztec had a baby.
What is this called? Oh, the Alto Hustle. The fact that apparently the Suzuki Alto is already pretty big in the K world, but the Alto Hustle, which great name, Americans love the hustle. I can see Americans driving this.
Yeah, you're 100% wrong, but that you definitely could like deliver your dairy deliveries in that thing.
I know a couple. As a former parts carrier, this is a great.
There you go, parts. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Who needs a Ford Lightning with
when you can do one of these?
Yeah. Oh, dude. All right. I needed to cleanse the palate on a lighter note because I was looking up this JD Power forecast / it's like a forecast / sales. I don't know. What do you call it? I'm trying to find the word here. It's a sales forecast, but more so like predictions of what's to come and what has happened, and just like a recap of a lot of different parts of the market. Really interesting numbers. So if you guys are in the market to buy a car in 2025, and let's say you're waiting till end of year, or you're just holding out altogether, I wanted to rattle off a couple of things that JD Power, which I know it has its own controversy, just like all these big names and award givers have. But Nonetheless, we're going to go over some of them because I found them to be interesting. But I think we could guess that sales overall are just down, right? I don't know if you've heard this or not, but so October 2025 are projected to be 1.2 million units, down 7% from last October. And that's where it starts with like new sales, EVs, all these kind of different markers. And one of the most interesting ones was the average price of a car, which I think we've seen a lot of articles say it's basically crept to just under 50 grand. Which,
I thought it crept over.
this one is just under, but I mean, this could be late reporting again, right? Because people are talking about it. This was from earlier this year, but it did come out yesterday. So I don't know how up to date the numbers are, and if it takes the furthest of Q3 into consideration. But I mean, at this point, this time next year, we're going to be well over 50 grand, or at for sure over $50,000.
Yeah, I mean that's what we all suspect. But if it keeps getting weaker, you had Ford come out and say because of the aluminum factory fire that they've adjusted their forecast down. That they think it's going to cost them $2 billion. You ever find it funny they just throw out these really large numbers that you can't check into? They're like, yeah, we just think it might cost us $2 billion, $1 billion, $1.5 billion. It's never like it's going to cost us $200 million. It's going to cost us $300 million. It's always some grandioso number, so it like gives them leeway with the shareholders. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's going to cost us $2.1 billion. It's like, I don't know. It could probably be under that. I mean...
Who's auditing this?
Exactly
Jack,
right. Nobody.
Jack from internal Jack. From
the guys from Enron.
Yeah, exactly. Another takeaway was the EV pull-ahead effect. Buyers rushing, due to the expiring credits, has passed. So now we're going to see a rebound of sorts, which is not looking good. I mean, this is some of the lowest EV sales numbers in a long time. I think the graph here showed since...
It's almost like it was being propped up.
Hey, man. People are going to feel like they're catching arrows right now. And you're right. You are catching arrows.
Oh, is it propped up?
I think 2020, let me see. It's a small graph, so that's why I'm not pulling it up. But since 2023, it looks like, are some of the lower, like these kind of numbers for sales-wise. Overall, do you have a prediction in that Nostradamus kind of brain of yours of where this is going to head into 2026?
I think it's highly likely you could see some brands down as much as 20%. I think you're going to see the numbers creep between 5 and 10% down for most brands. I think people doing things well. I mean, F-150 will stay strong. Silverado will stay strong. Maybe you have a rebound inside of the Dodge brand with Ram, but that's not looking healthy either. I think trucks will always do well. SUVs will do well. But imagine the brands and all. I think going back to Mary Barra, I think she said they have 40 different models right now, something like that they have on sale, 40 to 50 different models. And again, I could be misquoting her, but I'm just going off a number I believe that she said. If 5 models do great and 35 models do average or poor, it's going to be hard to see up numbers. And EVs in any of these brands, and GM is not going to escape this, Ford's not going to escape this, no one's going to escape it, it doesn't seem, are going to tank, and that could just bring the overall sales numbers down pretty dramatically.
So the share of EV new vehicle retail sales dropped dramatically from 2.9% in September to 5.2% in October.
Well, that's a gain. 2.9 to 5.
Are you saying to drop dramatically from 2.9? Yeah.
I got you.
Gotcha. So I mean, as I was going to ask you, I was thinking as I was reading this, do you still have people, or in large numbers, that seek your services or expertise in finding EVs versus a couple of years ago?
The only thing that we had a major issue on with a great customer, and I wasn't involved, they just explained it to me, is they wanted to get another EQS. And Mercedes made it very difficult to buy one. Like the new model, hey, they're only going to bring so many in, and they're not going to bring any in. And then all of a sudden on a Wednesday, hey, we got one. So it was kind of like one of those weird situations. But no, the EV thing, if somebody wants an EV, largely they just, you're in Rivian and Tesla. I don't, and this guy made a great point. I know he might be listening, is, he drives a Tesla every day. And he goes, I just don't know why you'd buy a Model S instead of an EQS because it's such a better experience with the Mercedes touches and whatever, which I thought was an interesting opinion, probably a very true opinion, by the way. But when you look at all of this, I don't think any of you out there, whether you're just a motorhead and you're anti-EV, or you're somebody like me that's in the middle of the road, like, hey, if it fits, it fits. It just doesn't seem like the interest is there. Either you're all in on it and you're going to buy one, or you aren't. And I think that's a very bad place to be with any car manufacturer. You don't want the dichotomy of no chance in hell I'm buying this in your lineup. Like, that is a really bad place to be. I think that's where everybody finds themselves. We saw Ferrari announce their EV plans, the stock plummets. Again, sales numbers and guidance were also a part of that. They expected things to go down. When you see a luxury brand, Ferrari's been printing money for generations, okay? When you start to see them go, hey, this isn't all going to keep going for a brand like Ferrari, you can expect the trickle down to be pretty instantaneous.
Well, again, kind of a serious subject, so let's have a little bit of a palate cleanser. I got this DM personally, dude, but I got to ask you because it was a question to you. All right. What is Nick's favorite car when it comes to a movie or a show, and you can't say Fast and the Furious, and you can't use Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds? I'll give you a second.
I wouldn't use Eleanor.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know it's a cool car, okay? I don't care what you say. I don't care that you're over it or you think it's gay.
People will hate what I'm about to say, but it was something as a kid. The Kit car.
Oh, dude, I was going to say that. I swear to God we didn't plan this.
Yeah.
I swear to... Dude.
Knight Rider was a big deal.
Now, if you say that this is your favorite episode, I'm going to lose my shit. I can close my eyes and remember when Kit was battling that tank thing and down, and the episode ends with like the climactic, like it's about to T-bone him, and that's when like I had to go to sleep. I didn't sleep that night, dude.
No. That was a big part of my childhood.
Dude, I am losing my mind right now that you said that.
I will say it was just a combination of cool car and technology that you didn't see at the time.
And a cool guy driving it.
But I think the real argument for anybody out there, the Aston Martin brand involved with the Bond is probably like the most iconic, continuous thing, not like a one-off, but Aston Martin being tied in with Bond for so long was probably like one of those things we underrate.
Yo, I don't know if it's his energy drink. I'm about to jump out my window. The fact you said Kit, the fact that you said Knight Rider and Kit, I'm losing my mind.
I just had to educate my kids on the Hulk. Like, and here's the thing. I'm very clear on this.
Okay.
Lou Ferrigno is Hulk.
Sure.
The rest of these clowns aren't Hulk.
That means you, Ruffalo.
Yeah. There's nothing Hulk about Mark Ruffalo. Okay?
Yeah, fair.
Like, have you met Lou Ferrigno? Have you been around Lou Ferrigno, like at any event?
I've seen him at a show, yes. I haven't been close to him, but
the Arnold, classic was, very close to my hometown. I remember the first time I met Ferrigno, he is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. And so then everybody after that, why they didn't look for bigger people to be the Hulk, I'm out.
Well, some might say we peaked then. America kind of peaked around
when Ferrigno was hitting the double bicep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have this. It's why I really have a problem with Fight Club. You know what I mean? Because I go...
he's dehydrated and super...
And I go, Brad Pitt?
You couldn't find like a Bobby Lashley character to play this?
Yeah, you couldn't get like, Sapp in his prime to be involved, Bob Sapp to be involved. I mean, what are we doing here? It's Fight Club. I don't want to. Nobody wants to watch Mighty Mouse and Fight Club. Nobody wants to watch that.
We need what's his name? Not Liam. I was gonna say Liam Neeson, not Liam Neeson. Also Thor. What the fuck's his name?
I don't know. I'll tell you this. You know who we need in more stuff is that dude they call Mountain.
Oh, dude, yeah, Thor. If you Vorgensen, or yes, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's who we need and stuff.
That's what I was trying to think of.
When you see that guy taking pictures next to people that are like super fit guys because they're lifting weights together, I just showed somebody a picture of this the other day. I go, I cannot believe that's a real human being.
Dude, straight up. Him, along with, I think his name is Robert Ford. He's like another one of these like bodybuilder characters. I think he was in Deadpool. He's like this huge guy.
Well, the guy that really impresses me is Brian Shaw.
Yes.
I saw Brian Shaw one time, and I couldn't believe it. There's a couple people I've seen very close up. One of them, because he's here in town all the time. When you see Shaq in person, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
You can't believe it. The other person you can't believe is Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas.
Yeah, the played for the White Sox.
Football. Oh yeah, baseball. Yeah,
Yeah,
does all the ads for Gold Bond and everything these days.
buddy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you see that guy in person, you're like, oh yeah, I see why he hit so many bombs. Yeah, that makes sense. that
It
makes
wasn't
total
the
sense.
era, it was just
No, this guy is
special.
big now.
Yeah.
Like, so it's, let me tell you, there's some people, it's sort of like when I used to live in a neighborhood that was Floyd Mayweather's neighborhood, and you'd see the guy running at like, 11 o'clock at night. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I see why he's won so many fights. This makes sense.
Oh, dude. And then we'll move on, people, I promise. You know what was really huge the last time I saw somebody that was this big next to me was, his name's Bob, the guy that does the shows, the NPC shows, right? That calls the famous voice that calls out everybody's name for the winner of the Olympia, Bob something or other. So I was doing an event and I had a service that it was adjacent to healthcare at the time, or health and wellness and recovery or whatever. And if you've never met this guy, he's all about business. So if he exchanges numbers with these, because he wants you to buy something from him or some sales transaction is about to take place. And anyway, this guy was ginormous. Like, he's probably my height, maybe a little bit, like maybe 6 foot, if that. But you would have thought it was Jay Cutler. And I mean, he was ginormous. And you don't really see that because they're wearing the suits on stage, right? When they're giving the names and the trophies and stuff. But I saw this guy in regular gym attire and I was like, holy, like this guy should have been a competitor.
Yeah, so Jay Cutler was the same, he lived in our neighborhood. And so you'd see him walking around. If people don't understand, Jay Cutler was carrying 300 pounds on like 5'10".
Yeah.
It is like real awkward to see because you go, how does that happen?
It's really odd to say, but Jay Cutler was like oddly some sort of like hero to me.
Yeah. He just captured people. There was a certain time that if you were like young, trying to get in shape, like he just kind of crossed in a way that Ronnie Coleman never did.
Yes,
right.
totally.
Like, but Ronnie Coleman was better, right?
Yeah.
But Jay Cutler just kind of, because he played the internet so well.
He did. And then when he would watch some of these, like there's that classic photos of him like sleeping, like getting ready for shows, or just eating his rice, and he's just he looks miserable, right? But like when he would do an interview, he wasn't the most like charismatic person, but like you felt what this guy was talking about to the core.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell you, man, you see some of these freaks of nature and you go, yeah, I see why they made it.
Yeah, pretty much. They're outliers, okay? Maybe they have some Mexican supplements, but that's beside the point.
And by the way, you guys can take all those supplements and still not do it.
Nope, because you're going to revert back to the other Mexican supplements and the tortas and everything else, and it's not going to work. It is what it is.
Get that Canelo beef.
Yeah, the Canelo. What was it? Horse? Was it horse meat?
No, he goes, I ate some beef from Mexico. It's like, that doesn't make you gain, 45 pounds of muscle, but okay.
Hilarious phrase. All right, moving right along here. The internet's favorite manufacturer, Nick. You probably have a ton of info and insight to this, but they are spinning off the Century brand onto its own.
I think this is pretty cool, but
I think so too.
The question is, does this play in the U.S.? Right? Is this at all going to be something? So the logical explanation that I think would be pretty cool is like if they did a Lexus Century Edition. Like, are they going to do this like Maybach? Like how Maybach is a Mercedes Maybach. Are you going to do a Lexus Century Edition?
No.
I know. I know what they're saying, but I'm just asking. That would be the most logical because, by the way, I love seeing these in person.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, do you think, and that I guess kind of answered maybe where your thoughts are, like, do you think it frees up some runway for Lexus to lean into its more like reimagining itself of like a sportier or even luxury sportier, while things like Century now are going to tackle the Rolls Royces and Bentleys of the world?
I think the question becomes, you have to be really into cars to understand what Century is. So are they going to go from the ground up around the globe and try to get you to buy into something that's basically been Japan-centric? Mm-hmm. Are they going to put all this money in to like really do that? Or is this just sort of an announcement? They're floating it out there. They're going to see how their dealer networks react. I can't really tell how much commitment they have to this because in America, I don't think it's going to do very well to just come out with a Century brand. For a company that bitched about how few Land Cruisers they used to sell, while they sold every one of them pretty quickly for a lot of years, I just kind of wonder, and that's why I wonder if they're going to end up phasing this into like Century editions of things.
So let me quote the Toyota chairman, Mr. Akio Toyoda. Century stands apart in a class of its own. Despite the Toyota felt Century was being dragged down by the Toyota badging, in effect, it'd be like having a Volkswagen logo on a Bentley, a no-go if you want to compete in a league of
Yeah,
its own.
that's true. I mean, but are you going to commit to the decades-long building of this brand? And
Right.
Toyota, when look at how quickly they're like, yeah, we're changing our mind on Supra. Yeah, we don't like how the FJ's gone. They seem to be very long in the tooth on the decision to make something, and then at times quit very quickly on things, right?
Right.
So my question is to everybody out there, I just think the logical thing is to make it sort of like this thing, especially in America, I should say, and probably most European countries and things, where it's just a special edition of the brands that already exist. I don't know that they'll do that because they don't want to combine the names, but
Mhm.
I just think the Maybach thing makes a lot of sense to me with the Century name on the luxury, Lexus Century Edition or things like that.
I like the way you describe that, especially for America, like especially for this market. I think that makes a lot of sense. I want to stay on topic with Toyota, but make a shift over to what Nick already alluded to earlier, which is what I think is the coolest thing for them to do this year is bring back the FJ.
I look, people always hear my opinion first. You go ahead.
Okay, look,
But it's not coming to the States, right?
not yet so far that we've heard, but I mean, come on, let's be real. Like this will eventually, I think, make its way here because if it's not going to compete against the big boys, this can at least compete against like the Bronco Sport.
There you go. That was my head.
Yeah.
This is nothing more than a Bronco Sport. Go ahead and tell me what you think about it.
Well, for starters, I'm going to give you my take on just because you have the two options, whether you want the circular halo looking, older, even like the current Land Cruiser has look, or this new one, which I'm showing right now on YouTube if you're not watching.
Yeah, with the sea lights.
With the sea lights, which I think looks good. Altogether, I mean, one, and again, I want to praise these things. I think it's cool. It's cool looking. It's great. It's a cool idea. You said from the start of the show they should have kept what they had going when they did because that's when the market started to boom, and then they kind of just pulled the rug out, so we're not going to do it. We're moving on.
Yeah.
But it's underpowered. It looks. I mean, we already say how the current, Land Cruiser 4Runner are small inside. Can you imagine what this is going to feel like? The Broncos and Bronco Sports actually feel a little roomier compared to some of these models, and they are also on the smaller side. So I have high hopes that it's going to turn into something cooler once it does land in America, if it does in the near future. But as it stands and with the offering that we saw and these pictures that we're kind of getting now, I'm a little underwhelmed, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm like you. Let's go ahead and celebrate this is coming back. I think the dimensions are off.
Yeah, dude.
Something about the dimensions of this just again, or I should say this. I really believe that you guys knew you messed up with FJ. I don't think you needed to veer this far offline. I think that FJ design kind of stands the test of time. I think it's actually, aged fairly well. This is now completely reimagined. Not very much is in connection to what it used to be. I realize things change. I'm glad they're doing it. Again, in Toyota fashion, I think you're in a position here where the tires size doesn't look right off the gate. Like this doesn't do anything for me. And I think the proportions look kind of funny. But I think the Bronco Sport kind of looks funny in person.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't, the proportions, it's like Jeep Compassy or whatever,
Yeah.
I think Toyota, I'm glad they're building it. I think it needs a lot of work. This would be a thing that I think the aftermarket could clean this up a lot. But you already have a car called Land Cruiser that you got to do a ton of work to get it looking good for most people. So it's like, is Toyota just like, let's slap cars together and let the aftermarket fix it? I mean, is that what they're saying in the meetings as we talk about executive meetings?
Dude, this kind of looks like the EV version of the baby G.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little baby G. And then when you take over to this, where's it at? Interior shot. These windows look like they're 6 inches tall. Like, is this for, no offense, little people?
Yeah.
Like only like 5'5" and under. Like it looks like a really small interior.
And I think if you were going to bring the FJ back and we were all going to have our wishes, you guys would have went after Big Bronco.
Yeah,
You would have went after Big Bronco. You'd have had a removable top option. You would have had the things we wanted with 4Runner, you can explain away why they wouldn't do all that because they go, we sell a zillion 4Runners, so we're not going to mess with the formula. But you're bringing something new to market. You guys could really damage the hell out of Bronco and Jeep if you guys did. And again, everybody that needs to understand something, they have debuted things at SEMA that are way cooler than this, that you could stamp the FJ name on.
That's true.
And I'm guessing they'll debut stuff here in a couple weeks at SEMA that's cooler than this as well. I don't see it being this thing that's, again, tying into the heritage of FJ at all. And I just don't know why you have to always go so far off path. I don't think that's necessary here.
So I'm showing the two looks. Would you rather have the circular with the snorkel or the sea lights?
Yeah, you got to go circle. At least you got to say, hey, I love the old FJ, and this was the closest thing to the old FJ. Just to make yourself feel better. Yeah, I would take the one with the circle headlights.
Okay, fair. I think I'd actually take the other one. I kind of like the sea lights. But I'm not.
You're not an actual enthusiast. It's all right.
I was gonna say, I'm not a true overlander like you. Sorry, my bad.
You're not big about jumping curbs at Costco. It's all right. That's not your thing.
I don't know. I'm kind of the guy that likes to do it in a truck instead.
I jump curbs in a truck.
100%.
I think they could have made it cooler. Look, I love that they're building it, right? So let's celebrate that. But the aftermarket is going to have to clean this up a lot, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let's shift back to a manufacturer we just talked about earlier, and I mentioned it to Nick in a video, or rather in a text message after seeing the video. So GM, with everything they have going on, somehow have this special vehicle engineering division that they're still using the Yanko name with, and they're releasing a single cab Yanko Silverado. Have you seen the video of it and pricing for it yet?
Just pull it up.
Hey,
let's pull it up.
I don't know. I got to
because they did build a Fox edition that was $225,000 and underwhelming. So let's trust them to do the right thing.
Walk into your local Chevy dealer and order yourself a 1,000 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission, regular cab, short bed Chevy Silverado with its own warranty. I never thought that we would see this day, but it's here, it's real. So let's talk about what's under the hood, what comes with the truck, and of course, the price. The truck itself is a regular cab short bed Silverado, as I mentioned, which frankly,
looks
I didn't
good.
even know they still existed, but I'm super glad that they do because this is the best layout for a muscle truck to me. The Yanko SC Silverado under the hood makes use of a 6.2-liter aluminum block V8 with forged internals combined with a high output supercharger, and then that's combined with a TR6060 transmission. If it sounds familiar, it's similar to what you might find in some of the Camaros and Corvettes. Definitely a solid unit, and best of all, it's a 6-speed manual,
which
boys
is cool.
and girls. From there, we get a stainless catback exhaust that is also a side exit, Yanko badge 6-piston Brembo front calipers and 16.1-inch rotors. We also get a 2-inch/5-inch lowering kit with Fox Performance shocks. Kind of like what I had on my single cab. Just love the look of a drop like this, especially on this truck.
That is a great.
Top it off,
awesome.
There's some visuals to spice things up just a
what
little bit.
What is the price,
Classic
dog?
Yanko graphics. We also get Yanko badging and 22-inch wheels. Pricing for the model starts at $89,000 on top of the price of a truck, which is about $37,000. You have to provide a 2-wheel drive truck, so you could get this thing out the door for $130,000.
That's it?
A little bit under, and it also gets that 3-year, $35,000 warranty. It will be a limited
nonchalantly
run truck
about
as
it.
well, which is noteworthy. There are only going to be 50 of these things.
50 of it, though, bro. Is this considered rare now to you?
6-speed regular cab short bed.
Yeah,
Pinch me. I feel
it's
like
rare. I mean, it's rare, but
Yeah. So the specialty vehicle engineering department, who I guess also better known as Yanko for GM vehicles, teamed up with Chevy to do this or whatever. But this video got 1.7 million views.
Good for him.
It was him in collaboration with Specialty Vehicle Engineering. Crazy, cool, but also, bro, 130, and it's 2-wheel drive. You can't even get an all-wheel drive like the F-150s.
I don't know, man. You guys that are into these types of trucks, building 50 of them, which means all of people like Rick Hendrick and all these guys are going to have first right of refusal, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to have first right of refusal, so probably the average guy has very little chance of getting one of these. I don't really understand that. Just take orders and build what you get.
Yeah.
That'd be my take if I was running, Chevy, is like, let's just see how many orders we can get. They don't seem to do that. Maybe they just can't handle that in that division, but a lot of cool stuff, man. It's a manual, a lot of power, $130,000. And I think that's going to be a light number because, as we know, they always undershoot that initial, when you start to read the fine print. I just think I can get a lot of cooler stuff. I mean, again, you guys can go out and get really in shape Ford Lightnings from the past. You could probably buy 3 of them for one price of these.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at a red one in Houston right now. 39's only got.
Yeah, so I was close. I mean, you're gonna get 3 Ford Lightnings. Again, if you're not a Ford guy, I guess that's like against your religion. But you're getting You're talking about SRT 10, Dodge trucks from the past. They're building them. Okay, I mean, we got to celebrate that, but 50 of them means the average guy doesn't even have a chance. They're going to sell it to their big dealers and their friends and that kind of stuff. And it's cool, but I don't see it.
I think they're cool too. It's just so hard to justify single cab when you have kids. It's like I'd have to be older and just really have it just as an extra fun kind of vehicle. But to think that they're going to make 50 of these and then make anywhere from $6.5 to $10 million off of these vehicles is pretty cool, man. That's capitalism in America at work right there.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of these excellent things to talk about that they're doing it, but I find it funny that a brand who hasn't found a way to rival Raptor is spending their time on this.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. I didn't even consider that.
Right? Like, you guys should be trying to rival Raptor. That's exactly what should happen. You guys still haven't done it. You just have punted on that as Ford is printing money with Raptor. The same thing about canceling TRX. The same thing about bringing TRX out at a price point that doesn't really rival Raptor. Why these two companies, Dodge, or I should say Ram and Chevy, have punted on aggressively going after Raptor is still one of the most astonishing things to me.
I still have 2 stories I want to get your thoughts on before we land the plane and round out this hour. But I gotta mention this too. Somebody sent me a video of a newer Silverado. It was either Silverado or Sierra, and they were working on something interior wise. It might have actually been detailing it, Nick, and they broke the door handle. Now, or the window switch, something happened, right? So they go to replace it thinking they can just take out the door handle or whatever. The whole panel has to be replaced.
What?
The whole door panel. You can't just buy a door handle like we did back in 1995 or even 2000. You have to replace even the window switch. It's all plastically integrated into the door. So once you take the door panel off and you break something, the whole thing's got to be replaced.
So for all you wrap shops out there, you might want to be listening.
Bro, I think it was I don't know, all things considered, I think it was like $600 or $700, which doesn't seem crazy, but also like you broke the door handle, which should have been $25. Now you got to spend $600.
Yep. Things are getting, this is, I guess, for all the professional body shops listening to us. I mean, I think this is the argument they've been screaming at the top of their lungs for about 10 years. Yeah. It's not new. It's not the last 5. The last decade, body shops, my body shop buddies, some who chose to get out of the business and closed very successful. It's just a headache. I mean, you see that when a Rivian gets in a wreck. Near one of the places I have to frequent, a couple times a week, they have a Tesla body shop, for wrecked Teslas. Rob, you'll see Teslas. I got a neighbor whose Tesla got rear-ended. They're telling him, be prepared to wait, 3 to 5 months on a rear end because he needs a trunk hatch and a rear bumper and maybe something else. And I tell people as much as I can, one of the things with these brands like Tesla, like Rivian, what you just said about, a door handle, it's becoming very expensive when something goes wrong because you got to buy so much stuff to make one thing right. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a guy that I started following recently who all he does, like he has a, and we've talked about this not on the show, but it's really fascinating. Like Mr. George, the JNS guy, that does all the videos. Well, there's a lot of these little shops and rather independent dealerships that are seemingly just making a great living and a great, making great revenue off of these smaller lots, specialty vehicles, this, that, and the other. This guy, all he does is buy 1997 to I think 2010 or 2008 GMT, trucks, like just all the GM shit that we like, that we grew up with, like that's what he's buying. And I don't know if you've seen him, and now you probably will since we're mentioning it. Our phones listen to us 24/7. But dude, he buys the cleanest versions possible around the country of the single cabs, the extended cabs, the crew cabs of these older GM trucks, and does it like he's so passionate about it, dude. All he does is talk about like the mileage of it and why certain things don't matter about it and why these trucks are so great. And I agree with him because I grew up with nothing but these older Chevys and Fords, but like you're going to see, in my opinion, a lot more of that where people are going to try to find that $10,000, $15,000 truck that's 15, 25 plus years old because you can still get that thing to a million miles plus.
Yep.
I think even Cletus McFarland, his grandpa, who's featured on the channel regularly, he was featured on some other YouTube channel, and his daily driver is still a truck that he bought new, which was I think a 2001 extended cab Silverado. He's got, I think he was either 400 or 700,000 miles, looks brand new, runs like new. You just got to take care of it. So I don't think we're going to see those kind of mileages or even the wear on the trucks altogether the way we did from the early 2000s trucks.
I had a chance to buy into a car dealership roughly about 10 years ago, and they were struggling, and my whole pitch to them to turn their business around is to become a boutique dealership, and that's what they're really called. So boutique dealerships, there's a company called EAG out of Cincinnati, Ohio that's been doing this with BMWs for a very long time, where just specializing in things that people want, no matter the cost of them. I mean, there's going to be things on the high end, the medium end, the low end. This feels like it's probably a very good business model for people that really love something. Like you said, GM trucks. If you know where to find them and you know how to find them, it's a good business model. And actually, it's a valuable business model for all those people that want to buy those things, whatever it is. Because if you're passionate about it, there's a high likelihood there's a lot of other people as well. And so I think when you look at this and you start to have conversations all the time with people, we all like what we like. So if somebody can fit that need, because that's what they're into, it doesn't matter where they're located anymore, right? Wisconsin or Texas or whatever. If they start sourcing these things, you're going to see this in the parts business big time, where FCP Euro is kind of doing this. I think he's running a good business. I don't know their financials or anything like that, but we're going to do Euro parts, and then we're going to be a one-stop shop, and we're going to make sure we do this. I mean, it feels like to me that's the future, at least for the foreseeable future. Let's call it the next decade. But yeah, man, I think it's cool people get into this stuff.
Yeah, I found it. I was trying to find his name because I couldn't remember what it was. But hey, just kind of like we used to highlight low miles, no miles. Check this out. This is the kind of stuff like 160,000 miles, no issues, 995. Like that's really good when you average out 15,000 miles per year from that year to now.
And that's really good when you think about it's pretty hard to touch a truck under 60.
Exactly. With the actual half door back there, which a lot of the extended cabs didn't have that. Like this is the kind of stuff, man, that it's not nostalgia. It's not even just the fact that it's, priced reasonably. It's that it's just a good unit, as my dad used to say. It's a good unit.
Yes, it's a good point. I mean, without a doubt, you got a 16-year-old son, you want to get him something. You don't want to buy him a $50,000 truck and you go, hey, this guy exists. This guy's going to move units if he can find them. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
All right. And as we land the plane, we usually don't talk about these smaller cars, and I'm sure you really don't care about them, but we love all cars, and we criticize equally on the show. The BRZ. So I don't know if you saw this, but Subaru discontinued the BRZ model, the base model, okay, for 2026, which means that they have raised the price of the starting price by $2,600, which is interesting when you consider the GR86. It's kind of supposed to be like basically the same car. Comes in over $5,000 cheaper now than that car.
Make it make sense, man.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
A visual here for you.
What's a BRZ entry price now?
I'm gonna tell you right now. So let's see. Well, here's the Toyota. I'm showing it on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. I'm gonna scroll down because I believe the pricing is in here. The Toyota will start around 31, and the BRZ
37.
37? No, that's the GR. That's a GRZ Yuzo edition.
Oh, okay. So that's is that the top package in the GR?
Yes, and then
that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, right, for the GR, I think so too.
Okay, so if it's $5,000 more, you're talking about starting price of 36, 37, top end price of 42 with the BRZ.
Yep. That's what's they had. The math is math in there because they didn't list the actual price, but yes.
Why in the world is this going on? And this idea we've been telling people about is these companies are done with base models, man. They're just going to make you eat the higher trims. I mean, that's just what they're going to do. And I had a buddy of mine who I know is listening send me a picture. He goes, "Oh my God, I found a base model 4Runner on a dealer lot." And actually took a picture when he was on the lot because I think he had to take care of a recall on his brand new Tundra. You know, Toyota doesn't have any problems, but he had to.
Yeah, that's rare, right?
Yeah. They don't. They run for 1,000,000 miles. You don't have to do anything. So, but he took a picture of it. He goes, "Oh man, look at this!" And then went over and took another picture of a Tacoma that was $20,000+ more. But when you look at, I think all of us feel the same way. GR86 right now, I mean, if you're talking about you can get into one legitimately for $32,000, $33,000, it's a pretty good car. Pretty good car to do that.
Absolutely. I would say anything you can get in right at that 29.9 to 31.9 is like, for an enthusiast car, dude, that's where we are these days.
And GR probably needs a lot more love than it's getting. I mean, that's a pretty incredible price point in today's market to be able to stay 31, 32, man.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody knows you can really do a lot to Toyotas, you know, and not really risk a lot if you're responsible. I think probably we should have given more love to GR before this.
Absolutely. And I know what people will say about the GR Corollas. It did have the overheating issues. I don't see a bunch of people tracking those cars, if we're being honest, but if you do, maybe look out for that. But for the new ones, the 26, I think, and above, or 25 and above, they did bring in the, because it used to be manual only, now you can get automatic. So if you don't know how to drive stick, or you're just over it and you don't want to drive them, you can actually get a GR with an automatic. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think we probably have done a disservice as a community of not talking more about the GR platform.
Yeah, so that is this week's show. Nick has the next project after the audio was another special project that we're not going to talk about yet, but it is starting on Monday.
Yes, sir.
And continuing through the rest of next week. So I would say before Thanksgiving, so early November, you're going to start seeing the next evolution of this LX, which I am so excited for, because as we talked about it, Nick came up with a third idea for the thing, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't think you'd actually want to do this, but that's really cool too. So it is going to be the most gentlemanly spec'd off-roading overlanding vehicle you'll ever see. Do you want to add anything to that, or what people could expect, or what you think about it?
This is a project that from the very beginning, Rob and I kind of had a vision of how do we find good people? How do we bring them in? How do we highlight them? And also kind of do things a little elevated.
Yeah.
Right? And I think when you guys see this project, you're going to see it's the first step. Just like getting the sound system sorted, this is going to elevate what most LXs or 100 series probably have in their vehicle.
Yeah, don't underscore it, because I think we're beyond a little elevated at this point. We're already like, damn, that's pretty elevated for what you're usually going to see inside of a LX.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome, man. And just so we can always share with people, I kind of thought this would go quicker, you know, so I know for some of you guys that have been following it, but also we've kind of seen the bad side of how some of these companies have been treated by previous, you know, quote unquote content creators, and that's creating a very understandable barrier at times. But we got SEMA in a couple weeks. I'm going to be at SEMA talking to all of these companies about this LX and anything we can do. What do they have? What can we be a part of? What can they be a part of? So yeah, we are trying, guys, but this is just one of those projects that's going to take time, because I think of a lot of things out of our control, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's also the way real people would do it, and we're going to keep referring back to that. So we're really just doing it in an actual realistic timeline, I guess I could say.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.